Good morning here, everybody, and welcome to Trading Within the Box here on January 30th here of 2025 at 11:11 a.m. Here we're going to go over some stocks, but first of all, this is not a recommendation to buy, hold, sell any stocks. This is not a recommendation to buy any stocks. This is an educational video only. This is not a recommendation to buy any forex, futures, any options, any trading. This is educational purpose only. If you'd like to purchase stocks, please contact a licensed professional or the brokerage house of your choice, and they will help you there execute trades. Let's go over right now. We're going to go over the S&P 500 here, looking at a weekly chart first. And now on the weekly chart here, look at the S&P 500. We're heading up still, so we have increasing volume. So we could get this kind of situation here and then head back up. Okay, so that we're just waiting to see. On the daily chart, I want to go over the markets really quick because then we got the stocks to go through. Okay, so we're holding above the 9-day moving average right now on the S&P 500. So if we get a little buying, a little energy here, we can get up into this area here. Okay, and that's going to be right. We get one of these and then up into this spot. Now we don't want to start breaking down here. If we start breaking down, we're going to test the 574.97 range. So that's something that we'll have to continue to keep watching, okay? Let's go over to the banks, the bank basket, XLF, and we have a doji up here. So now why? We're overexhausted in this spot here. So this is not a surprise. We're up, we had broke above, and let's see if they're going to pull this back. 2-hour chart, the survey says right now we got profit taking coming in here, okay? So there is a little profit taking here, and we're in resistance, slamming right into resistance at 51.79 on the 2-hour chart. So so if we get a pullback here, do not be surprised. We got the SMH, and with the SMH, you're coming off of the support area at that 234.32 range. It dropped a little bit below, but what do you have here on the daily chart? Looking at the daily chart, what do you have here? Look at this monster now. Now keep that in mind. Put that in your book and your notebook. Okay. So what do? They always retest it. Even if we creep up to this level here and we fail, okay, they will retest this spot here. So that's an exchange of money right there. Okay. So that we get that little pullback here, we can get back up again. Okay. On the semis. Okay. On the semiconductor stocks, IWM. Let's go over to IWM. We're going over the markets right now. IWM, we have a doji up here. We have a lot of dojis, so we have a lot of indecision at this point of what this market's going to do. So now if we look at the 2-hour chart, there was a lot of selling, okay, in this area right here, okay. So let's see what they're going to do. We're waiting right now because we have doji, so we have to wait. That's indecision. All this area right here, what this is indecision. Doji. Okay, so that's indecision of what the market's going to do. Qs, let's go to 3 Qs, and what do the 3 Qs have? Again, what do we have here? We have the exchange of money again, right in this spot right here. Okay, boom, right there. So what do those do? They always retest them, and that's what's happening. Now, if we hold... Right, we want to see it hold right here at the 50-day moving average on a daily chart, and boom, we get some engulfing. Now, we want to make sure that we don't start dropping again, and we go to this 563 range, okay? That's what we want to see here, okay? That's what we're going to, we know we got selling involved. Even if we go to a 2-hour chart here, we have an engulfing for selling here, okay? But this could stop right here and then turn. So let's see what they're going to do. Okay, let's go to dollar, US dollar. And the U.S. dollar here, let's just see if they're going to move this up. And we got coming off the bottom here with the dojis, okay? So we got the dojis and we're coming up, and we came off of major support at that 29.14, which is not a surprise at all. And we have the monster volume stick, which is going to get tested again. If it tests it with lighter volume, we should hopefully be able to hold in that spot for the dollar. We'll see, and that's the story with that. Let's go over to the all-world Microsoft, as we always say, and the all-world Microsoft had earnings yesterday, and of course we went over this the other day. So what happens with Microsoft is we're testing the lows again. So let's do a little volume analysis here as we went into January 14th area. Now we're coming down with a little more volume here. So we got 16.94 million shares, okay? Yesterday we had 23. Today we got 24 million. So let's see what they're going to do in that spot once it hits the support area, and that's what we're going to be waiting for here. So now we got another major support area here that we're going to. Now Microsoft pulling back at this level here, and then if you go to the weekly chart on Microsoft, what do we got? Okay, we have that huge capitulation sell candlestick right there. But remember, we also have a large volume stick here. So we want to see hopefully an exchange of money here at support. Okay, that's what we want to see. We don't want to see anything dropping lower on Microsoft here. We want to see it hold into this spot here, and then they buy it back. Now, when we go to the 2-hour chart, look at the selling that's coming in here on Microsoft. There's a lot of selling in that spot, but there could be money exchange here because why? Where are we right now? We're at a major support area, okay, on Microsoft. See it right there. See it right there. Okay, so that could be a major exchange of money at support. So that we have to keep a very close eye at right here. Okay, look at the money exchange. That monster. Usually we get a change in direction, okay, after that, okay? So that's something that we're going to continue to keep watching on Microsoft. Let's go over to, where are we at? Let's go over to Apple. Now on Apple, this is not a surprise. Now on Apple, they're taking profits here. Why? Because we came off a support area in that 220 range, and we got it all the way up to this 239.67 range. We got up and above this area here. Now, this was the thing that I was saying. Are we going to get a bullish head and shoulders pattern here? Okay, we're going to get bullish head and shoulders. We want this actually to pull back. We want it to pull back, but hold. We want it to come back here and hold in this area, maybe at this 237, 236 range or whatever. And then we want it to start buying again, break the neckline, okay? When we break the neckline, what are we going to do? We're going to measure from the bottom. We're going to measure 219.75 to the top. And what's that? It's almost 240. So what's that? That's 20 points from here. So 20 points from 240, let's call it 240, would be 260. Okay, and that's right up at the last highs here, right here on December 26th. So that's what we're hoping for on Microsoft. Remember, we're going to follow the money because that's what this is. This is following money. We're going into resistance and we're pulling back in volume. Now we have the earnings here today on Apple. So let's see what they're going to do after the earnings. Okay. Now with the weekly chart, even if we close in this spot, we're in a good position here. Why? Why are we in a good position? Because let me show you this. When you get the high candlesticks, what do? They usually gravitate back to that area, okay? It's a magnet. This is a magnet, okay, on Apple. We get an engulfing here with increasing, look at the increasing volume, okay? We do have earnings today, but then let's look at the volume. Now we go over to the volume of this week so far. Now we didn't finish. Today's Thursday. We still got more to go here. We have 305 million shares, okay? We're going after 185 million, 171, and the swing point's at 133. So if we get that bullish head and shoulders, we'll be off to the races here again, which would be a great thing on Apple, okay? So that would be a great situation on Apple. Let's look at the 2-hour chart, which we know right here, we have a little profit taking, and we had, a little lighter volume in this area here. Okay, so we get a sideways move. Now, if we just hold, remember I said, we just go back to this little 236.48 area, or we just hold this spot, boom, we get up and we get a bust out. Where we're going to be. We got that beautiful bullish head and shoulders pattern. Okay, so that's a great sign for Apple right there. Okay, let's look at Meta. Now Meta, we know what happened last night with the earnings. Now let's go first to a daily chart. Now on the daily chart, what happened here? Now this is not a surprise. We had a straight up move. Okay, they're going to take profits. Don't think they're not. I mean, we had a high yesterday and the aftermarket of 710.79. Okay, now it's 684, 74, so 80. It just keeps fluctuating. Okay, so that was a massive move with a profit taking here. Now, let's go to a 2-hour chart because we want to know what's going to happen here. So we go into this area, and what do we see? We see right here that we slammed what? Right into the resistance area, right in this spot, right here. Boom. Slammed right into it. Now, we sat at support again. So we do have this support area, which is at 679.42. Okay. We have that spot. Now, what do you think they were going to do there? Okay. You had a massive buying. They're going to take the profits. You do not have to be a genius to figure that one out. Okay. So, what we want to do is we want to see it hold. That's what we want to do. So, we had some selling today, obviously. Let's see what happens thereafter. Okay, let's go to weekly chart on Meta. Okay, now Meta has that incredible volume up there. You're going to get a little bit of a pullback. It's going to happen. It's not, but we want to see it keep riding that moving average, that 9-day moving average on that weekly. If it keeps riding it and it keeps coming back to it, it keeps buying off of it, and we break this area at that 710 or 710.79 or whatever it was, boom, we could be off to the races again here. So now be careful. Remember what I say. Now let's go to this little analysis here. We had a sideways area. Okay, this was a sideways move. Higher low, higher low, higher low. We were still in the sideways move. We're in that third higher low. Now riding that 20-day moving average, they came up, increasing volume. Okay, came up. Boom, we get the bust out. Now take your ruler and measure this area, and then measure as high as it's going to go. Okay, that's not a surprise. Okay. Let's get a line here to show you. Let's just see if actually that's wrong. Okay, I just drew a line with this green line right here. Okay, so that was about as long as we were going from here to here approximately. So if we draw that line, look how far we can go. We're going to get pullbacks, but we have to see first. There's going to be a few things in the way to, and a few indications here as we're following it, what could happen. But that's as far as we can go. I mean, if you get up into 819, don't be surprised. Okay, on Meta. Okay, so we had some good news yesterday on Meta. Okay, as we went into the daily chart. Okay. Let's look at Meta. Now, we busted up, and then we got into that 711. That's resistance. Okay, now we're sitting at support right now. So let's see if it holds or if it drops down to the 663 area, and then we start making another run. Now you're very far away from the moving average. Okay, so when you're far away from the average, you could, if it's very solid, it'll go sideways, catch up to it, then boom, head up. Now, if it pulls back and then holds, and then boom, we get another run, then you know it's going to be solid. Now, you got great volume in this area, okay? And you do have a little bit of a gap up there, so which is a good sign. Now, things don't go straight up forever, okay? Let's go over to Amazon, the monster. And on Amazon, not a surprise, okay? Now, we got earnings on February 6th, okay? So that's something that we're going to have to watch. This is another one that broke that area, that sideways box, trading within the box right here. Right there, okay? We had this area. This was a sideways move, okay? And then it came up and it busted out. Now, when you get these, now this is another great buy signal right here, okay? You had this incredibly beautiful volume. You're pulling back with lighter volume, okay, which is a great sign. Even if you pull the stochastic down and you start heading back up. Now, on Amazon, okay, we're getting close to a support level at 231.76. Okay, when we restarted this trend here, we have the first pullback here. Okay, now this is an amazing buy signal right here. When you see these, That's an amazing buy signal right there. Okay, that means it's sold all the way off of that. Boom, they brought it all the way back up. Okay, and they weren't interested in selling. It's just there was bad news that day. Okay, it came out of China. Okay, so that was that's the situation with Amazon. When we go to a weekly chart on Amazon, look at how we're holding that area. Now on Amazon, we have increasing volume on the weekly chart. Okay, we're increasing. Okay, so let's hopefully we hold here, and then we could take out that high. Okay, let's see what's going to happen there. Okay, TMO. Let's go first to TMO on a weekly chart, and on TMO we knew this was happening because we went over this last time with an incredible W formation here. Now, if you don't believe me, go to your line chart. Okay, look at that. Boom. Right there. I could see it before the line chart. See it right there. The right side of the W is what? Higher than the left. Boom. We come up. Now we have moving averages getting ready to cross up. Look at this incredible volume here. This is massive volume week per week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we dropped off a little bit. Okay. That means we retested with lighter volume on the right side of the W. As we were increasing on the right side of the W with the volume, boom, it slammed up. In volume, massive amounts of increasing. That's follow through buying. Okay, so it's follow through buying, and then what happens there? Okay, what happens there? Boom, we slam into the $600.97 area, and that's resistance. Okay, now once we get back up into this, if we get back up into the 621 here, we want to see now what happened. It tested again. This massive volume stick right here. Okay, that's what it did. It went right back to it. Okay, now we want to see what's going to happen on TMO. Okay, we're going to have to see what happens on TMO. Okay, let's go. Actually, that's weekly. Let's go to daily on TMO because we want to look at TMO on a daily chart. Okay, on a daily chart, if you look at it, we came back to the 9-day moving average. It was so strong that look at the money exchange. Boom, we busted up. Okay, now we have earnings here today. Okay, on TMO. Okay, so things so far, let's look at the 2-hour chart, are looking pretty good here. Let's hope that we get some follow through here. We get some follow through here. It would be a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, on TMO. So that's something that we're watching closely on TMO. Now TMO, remember up here at this 620. This is the high. 627.87 on September 10th. Okay. And then you had 627.87. I think that was the high there. Yeah, and that was the high. And that's what we're hopefully going after. Okay, at TMO. Okay, so TMO we're going to have to watch closely. Let's go over to, and look at that beautiful thing there. That's a thing of beauty right there. Okay. Now, if TMO pulls back, and we get the bullish head and shoulders on the weekly chart, okay, sometimes we can't ask for too much, right? But if we get this kind of thing, then we get this kind of thing, we could be even going higher. But that remains to be seen, okay? That's going to remain to be seen, okay? Let's go over to Google. Now, Google, remember the earnings here, okay? Let's go over to the daily chart on Google. Now, on Google, let's stretch her out, okay? So on Google, we got this little choppiness, but we have what? What do we have here? We have the channel, okay? We have the channel. So we have the channel right here chipping away. So now we do have the earnings when? We have earnings on February 4th, okay? We're going into 205.46, and that's resistance. So what's going to happen is we probably go back up to that range, and then we'll pull back again. Okay, and let's see if it holds. If it holds, if it starts to bust out and you have this sideways move, then look out. Okay, so that's something that you're gonna want to watch. Let's get rid of that really quick. Let's go over to a 2-hour chart, and we want to see what the sentiment is as of now. Okay, and the sentiment is we're just creeping up there. Okay, there was some good buying volume in there, but we're gonna have to see, and we're going towards resistance, okay, at 205.46, okay. If it breaks the high of January 21st of 203.84, okay. So that's something that we're going to have to continue to watch. Okay. Now we're going to go over to Costco, the monster. And it is a monster. Now, we slammed into the 978.83. Okay. Now, let's go to the points. You have one peak, two peaks. This is the third peak. Now, you're very far away from the moving average, so don't be surprised if Costco pulls back to here. Costco is so strong, sometimes it could just go a little sideways, then boom, bust back out. Then you start testing this, what was their high? Their highs were $1,000 and $1,007. And $1,008 it got up to at one point. So right now you're at 978.34. You're up $14.32 as of now. Okay, as of 11:33 here. Okay, so that's something that you're going to want to watch, okay? On the weekly chart, and this is not a surprise. We went over this the other day. We're turning on the weekly chart here. We came off support, and then Costco, look at this. Look at the volume. Now, is this a surprise to you? No. Why? We went over this 100 times. Look at the volume stick, the magnet. The magnet is right there, okay? We're already into this candlestick here. So we want to try to see if we can test those highs. That's what we're looking for, okay? Let's look at the line chart. Let's see what we had the retest. Look at this. Look at this retest W right here. Boom. Right side is higher. Boom. Okay? Good increasing volume. Look at the increasing volume right there. Okay? Let's see. With Costco. That's what we're going to be watching on Costco. So on Costco, that's how we're going to play it. On obviously, let's go to the 2-hour chart. There's obviously good buying in this area here because what happened here on the 2-hour chart intraday? What's going on here? Sideways move, trading within the box. We take the ruler out and we go sideways, and then we want to see how far up they're going to bust. Happened here, sideways, boom, busted out. This is a step-up pattern. Step-up pattern is extremely, extremely strong. When you get this ladder, watch the ladder, okay? You see the ladder? Right here, you get step, staircase, step, staircase, step. Those are really powerful when they do that, because that means they're not selling off. They just keep buying, and they're accumulating buying. That's accumulation of buying. Although you're in resistance, but don't be surprised if you get a little bit of pullback here. Okay? So, Costco. Now, let's go to GE. Let's go to GE. GE. What is GE doing here? Okay? Now, GE is coming up with lighter volume into the resistance area here. Okay? Now, it's up $4 here today. Okay? And you have a massive volume stick right here. Okay, so on GE, you should be taking profits up in this area because what is it doing again? It went back to the monster volume stick. They always go back to them. Not 100%, but most of the time. Okay, the only problem is you're testing this area with a lot of lighter volume here up in this spot at this 203 range. Okay, so that's something that you're going to want to be careful of here. Okay, on GE. Now, on GV, the Vernova, okay, they crushed this bad boy. Okay, remember right up here 441 we were, and then we were down here at 320. Okay, so now we're up 27 here today. Okay, so that was during earnings. We got crushed a little bit, and now we're heading back up. So this is a good sign for us here on this. Okay, look at this. Now this is a good sign. We're riding the rope, okay? Riding the rope on the 9-day moving average, head up to this 395 range. And it's nice to see what the buying is coming in here, okay? On GE Vernova, this is a nice sign, okay? On the weekly chart. Now, remember, this is Thursday, okay? So we got massive volume, and we tagged the 20-day moving average, okay? We tagged it, and we were all the way down in this 320, 319, whatever it was. Okay, so now they're buying it back, okay? Let's see if we can get back and test that top again. You never know. Okay, we're going to be following that one, okay? That's something we're going to be following, okay? Let's go over to Shake Shack. On a Shake Shack, we have, look at Shake Shack here. We got a double bottom here, okay? So now we said this last time when we did the last one. We're waiting for this to turn. Now, we do have earnings on Shake Shack on February 10th, okay? So let's see what happens here with the weekly here. And we start closing up higher. We're up again today on Shake Shack, okay? Now, on Shake Shack, we have a higher right side of the W, okay? And we want to see if we have a beautiful buy signal here. Now, we're going into resistance here on the 50-day moving average on the daily chart here. And we're going into it with lighter volume. So let's see what they do here. If they hold it, pull it back, and boom. Okay, let's just see. Okay, we're coming off the bottom here. And we're coming off the bottom here. Okay, now Uber. Let's go over to Uber. Okay, now we'll go over to Uber. And on Uber here, we came up and we were riding the rope, but then we dropped below, but then they brought it back here today. So let's go to the 2-hour chart. Okay. Let's see, though. Now, on a 2-hour chart, we're coming up into resistance here. Let's see if they're going to bust up or if they're going to hold it and bust down, okay, on Uber, okay? Now, Uber, we got crushed here, okay? We were up here at October 11th, okay? All the way up at this 85 range, okay? Now we're at 66. That's something we're just going to have to keep watching on Uber, okay? So, with that said here, let's just look at the bonds. One second. I just want to check the bonds here. And okay, so we have a little bit of a bullish head and shoulders here, but we're going right into resistance here. Let's see what they do. I mean, they could pop their head above it and then bounce them back down again on the bonds. Okay, so the bonds are still not being supported on a daily chart here right now. On a weekly chart with the bonds, we're smack into the resistance area, the 9-day moving average. Okay, so we want to just check that. We wanted to see what was going on there. Okay. With that said, I just want to thank everybody for coming. Thank everybody for watching this. I hope this helps everybody out, and we'll see you soon.